You know what I'm getting really sick of in this industry? People either talking down about lower powered ATVs as if they have no purpose, or continually talking up the highest horsepower ATVs as if anything less is insufficient. We're all guilty of this, but it's started to agitate me more recently when my focus as a member of the media has shifted from constantly telling people they need to have the biggest, baddest, highest horsepower ATV to trying to help people find the perfect ATV for them, one they can use and afford. Times are changing. The biggest and baddest crowd still exists, but more and more people are having to justify owning an ATV and making it fit into their budget. There is no shame in this, and no one should be ridiculed for it. Especially when companies like Polaris are building vehicles like the Sportsman ETX, a full-size, fully capable ATV that can fit into almost any budget and can take you anywhere you want to go. The ETX was built to replace Polaris's very popular, budget-conscious Sportsman 400 HO. The 400 was a good vehicle, a decent performer, and made no excuses, but it was one of Polaris's oldest models, the only one left that did not include EFI, and was definitely due for an update. The ETX is powered by Polaris's 31 horsepower ProStar mill. Now, interestingly, Polaris doesn't list the actual displacement of this motor anywhere. Even on the specifications page for the ETX, they only list horsepower. But we know it's 330 cc's, and we're pretty sure the reason Polaris doesn't list displacement is because they don't want buyers to miss the forest for the trees. In other words, they don't want people to overlook the ETX because it has small displacement, but rather get the message that it's putting out 31 horsepower, which is nearly identical to the old 400 HO. Identical power, yes, but this power is more refined. It's smooth and operation is effortless thanks to perfectly tuned EFI. The fact of the matter is that in this case, Polaris is right. Displacement doesn't matter. The 333cc single found here is better than the 455cc single found in the old 400 HO, despite being 125cc smaller. When it comes to the chassis, the ETX leaves no question about its Sportsman lineage. It's built on the same platform as the Sportsman 570 line and has many of the same specifications. Proven McPherson struts up front provide 6.7 inches of travel, and double A-arms out back provide 9.5 inches. Having 6.7 inches of front-end travel is the only aspect of the ETX we're disappointed with. From our perspective, there's no reason this vehicle shouldn't have the same travel as a Sportsman 570, and it's the only chassis downgrade an ETX buyer has to accept. The ETX drivetrain is all Sportsman, and it's among the best in the industry. There have been no downgrades here. A full high-low transmission, on-demand 4x4, shaft drive, single lever actuated disc brakes all the way around with stainless lines. It's all the same stuff as the high-end models. It's proven, it's durable, and it's reliable. It's at about this point you probably should be asking yourself if there are any features missing from this vehicle versus its higher horsepower siblings, and the answer is yes. But the list is short. 24-inch tires are small but work great with a 30 horsepower motor. A plastic-clad steel rear rack isn't quite as nice as the bigger Sportsman's racks, and the gauge cluster houses an analog speedo. Now there's no power steering, but let's be honest, a vehicle like this doesn't really need it. On the other hand, the list of stuff you do get is more than long enough to make up for the stuff you don't. Huge under-rack storage in the front, water-resistant storage compartment in the back, a full complement of information is available on the digital portion of the gauge, and a 12-volt outlet is standard equipment. When you consider what the ETX is meant to do and who it was built for, it really is an impressive package. But there's one point we haven't covered, and it's what pulls all of this information together. Price. $59.99 US MSRP, the ETX costs a mere $300 more than the old 400 HO, and it still had a choke. It's among the lowest priced full-size ATVs on the market, yet it remains fully comfortable and every bit as capable as vehicles costing twice as much. For $6 grand, what are you really sacrificing? Horsepower and bragging rights, and that's about it. Now, I'm not trying to say everyone should be riding an ETX. There are those who both need and want, and equally as important, can afford bigger, more expensive ATVs. But for those who can't, the ETX is nothing to be looked down upon. In fact, we think getting to the same places with less power is something to brag about.
If you like this video, click the link and subscribe to Trax's YouTube page where we're updating all kinds of fresh stuff like you've just seen.